I'm just gonna be straight up with all of you. I was really thinking about giving this series a hard pass. And the reason for that was because Netflix picked up the series, and if you've been watching anime for a while, it's kind of hard to watch Netflix licensed series, and the reason for that is if you're an anime watcher that watches, let's say, seasonal anime, like you wait till the next season comes out and you watch the anime as it comes out, etc., then Netflix's overall business model is not something that is really enticing, especially for someone like me, someone that likes to watch anime on a weekly basis, and don't get me wrong, I do like binging shows. It's really good to binge a good anime. But most of the time, especially with my schedule, I like to, watch it on a weekly basis and, keep up with it. Because if, I push it aside and I wait until all the episodes come out, most of the time, I'm just going to pass it on by and just move on to something else. That's usually how it goes. I'm just going to be honest. That's how I am. And when it comes to Beastars' release schedule, obviously, if you know about Netflix, the series won't officially come out through Netflix for another 5 to 6 months. It's gonna be a long time until we actually see Netflix release Beastars, and even then, if this series is 24 to 25 episodes long, Netflix will only release the first 12 episodes, because that's usually how they are. They release the first 12 episodes, they wait a few months, and then they release the next half. And you gotta imagine, that's just awful. That's just, if you're someone that is already actively watching Beastars at this moment, you know what I mean of how bad that is. So, I'm not the biggest fan of Netflix's business model. I'm not saying that they're bad for anime, because they definitely help out anime in the long term, and I definitely support them for that. That's why I do watch anime on Netflix when I can. But for the time being, though, when you're wanting to watch something actively from a new season, they're not really the best way to go about it. And I do feel like most of the time when Netflix does grab a series, they do overall, I think, ruin the hype for a series. Or they kind of make the series fail to a certain degree, because there's really not a lot of people actively talking about it when it's actually relevant in, the current anime season. So that's what I'm getting at. And I feel like many might give this series a hard pass. Beastars a hard pass because it's really hard to find. I mean, you're basically forced to, go out of your way and find other methods. And I don't fully support that, but some people have to do that, and it's messed up when you think about just Netflix, how they can make it so easy for others that they truly just released it on a weekly basis, since they do have the licensing property to it. Another reason, which I know many are going to have with this series, is that the overall depiction of the series, the image of the series, is definitely something that's going to cause many to shy away, and that is the fact that all the characters are animals. Humanoid animals. Now, let's just not try to lie to each other, okay? Let's just be completely honest. When you look at Beastars, if you're someone that knows about, let's say, furry culture, etc., you're gonna probably be turned away from the series if you're not into stuff like that. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, let's not try to lie, okay? Let's not lie to anyone. And it makes sense why many would give Beastars a hard pass, because when you first glance at the series, it seems like that might be the case. And maybe one day it might get really deep within that type of stuff, but from what I have at the very least seen from the first episode, that doesn't necessarily seem to be the case. There is definitely a great story to be told here through Beastars, and I'm just really upset with myself that I was actually going to skip this series, because it's really good. And before I really get into spoiling and talking about the episode, my thoughts, etc., I'm just going to tell you this, okay? If you're someone that is on the fence for two different reasons, either Netflix or because it potentially looks like a furry series, I do recommend you to at least give it a shot. You might like it. It really is good. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm someone that really is not a big fan of, of furry content either. I mean, I'm not judging for anyone that likes it. I'm just saying I'm not the biggest fan of it, okay? Just clarifying. And that's the thing here, is that I was just gonna shy away from this series. But here I am. I'm talking about it, and I gotta say, it is truly such an enjoyable watch. Honestly, I'm not just saying this. It is easily, I think, one of my favorites, or my favorite show from this anime season. It was a really good first episode. It was. So, if you're wanting something different, and you're wanting something that really will, surprise you, shock you, etc., give it a shot. give the first episode a shot. I don't know how many episodes are currently out. I'm assuming about 4 to 5 episodes are probably out currently for Beastars, but I'm definitely going to catch up. I'm definitely going to talk about it as I catch up. But let's get right into it. Now that I've given a warning out of the way, a little bit of a brief talk about Beastars, let's talk about the story. So, there is definitely more to this story than just appearances. Like I said, the characters looking like animals. There is fundamental themes here that, honestly, I did not expect the series to really tackle. And that is pretty much racism. This series really is heavy on the racism department when it tries to discuss the themes. And basically, when you look at how the beginning of the story starts off, you have it to where if you kind of take out the animal aspect of the story, it's pretty much you have a murderer going around killing someone, and people are automatically suspecting the most suspicious, group of people, the minorities, etc. That's pretty much what's happening within the story. And so you have a big divide here. You have the herbivores, and you have the carnivores. Now, we all, I think, if you are watching anime, you understand what a carnivore is, an herbivore, an omnivore. We all know what that is, okay? So I don't think I need to explain that. But the point is, there is a divide. Since technically every character is based on an animal, they are technically fundamentally set in their own groups. A carnivore and an herbivore. And obviously, if they, go a little bit further, you would see why people wouldn't trust carnivores. Because they're meat eaters, they will definitely devour herbivores. That's what, technically real life is. And so, basically, everybody's very weary of carnivores. They don't want to be around them because, they're scary. They might kill them, etc. And so there is a stigma. There is racism within this story, but it doesn't just stop there. There's even more racism, not just in between, like, the herbivore versus carnivore subject, but also racism within their own groups. For instance, herbivores racist against other herbivores. And that's what's really fascinating about this, is like, I did not expect that type of theme to the story, and it really tells a really good story with it. And it's smart. It's really smart to tell a story like that. So, let's get a little bit deeper into it. So, basically, with the races apart between herbivores just to each other, you have it to where, let's say you have a rabbit, okay? And you have different types of rabbits. Obviously, because of different types of rabbits, they might not all get along. You'll have these prestigious rabbits that are very special and rare, and then you'll have this one that's just very common, the common rabbit and all that has nothing special about it at all. Basically, something that's not supposed to exist in the first place, kind of like an unpure animal. Like, okay, to give a better clarification here, if you know anything about, let's say, dog breeding, cat breeding, etc., then you most likely know where I'm going with this. Basically, you have it to where many like to keep a bloodline pure. For instance, Casca. My dog Casca, she is a Shiba Inu, and she is a pureblood. And obviously, people actively seek out pure-blooded dogs or cats. And obviously, if they're a mix, people kind of don't want to get them. Now, I'm not saying that's, a good thing. You should definitely, if you like a dog, you should get a dog, regardless of purebred or not. But the point is, people do actively hunt down pure-blooded, like, certain individual animals. And that's basically what's going on here, is that because of certain breeds in the herbivore category, they have a little bit more, I guess, prestigious, like, upbringing. They are rarer, etc. And so the ones that are very common, like mixed breeds, etc., are kind of shoved down in society, and once again, they're the minorities, and they're, there's racism thrown towards them. So that's kind of the theme of the story, at least from what I can see. The presentation of what the first episode, at the very least, wanted to establish to its audience. And like I said, that's enjoyable. I don't know if it's just me, but I do like how unique that is. I've never actually seen a series really dabble in to using themes like animals for stuff that's real life problems. So, you know what? I'll give a clap. I'll give a clap to Beastars for just being very unique in that regard. So, another thing to talk about is obviously another theme to the story. There is murders. So, from what I could see from the first episode, it is a murder mystery story. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting. So, you have it to where there is someone on the loose within this campus that is killing people. obviously herbivores, and to do that, basically you need to be a carnivore. Now, I'm assuming the series could throw a curveball and say an herbivore is doing it, but regardless of who it could be, though, there is murder within this story, so it is a mature story, and it is something that is basically trying to build up for some form of mystery around it. So I do think that's kind of cool, too. So it adds another element to the story that I did not expect. So you have murder, mystery, investigation, along with real-world problems and just themes being discussed. So if you're into that type of stuff, then you probably are going to like Beastars. At least I know I did after watching the first episode. Now, okay, a few other things I really want to go into detail with is the main character. So from what I could see, the main character, actually there's two main characters I could see that was displayed within the first episode. You have the wolf dude and you have the bunny girl. Now these two characters, when you really think about their dynamic, it's interesting. When you think about a wolf does actively hunt down smaller creatures, animals, etc. So having a bunny girl as like the main female character and the wolf as the main male character, there's definitely something there that's trying to say. Like it's trying to tell us a message there, especially with the whole racism thing, carnivore, herbivore, etc. So I do think that's kind of cool. I do like that depiction way they're going with the characters, the two characters. Now, in terms of personality, you have the wolf character, the main male character, that is obviously shoved down in society. It seems like overall he's someone that is used to being kind of mistreated, you know, constantly gazed at and thinking that he's shifty, etc. Not really liking what he does. Seems like he is a bad person just because of appearances. But at the same time, after actively seeing a little bit more about his character, he definitely seems to be someone that's very passive in nature. It's someone that likes to remain in the background and not really do much. He's someone that isn't necessarily a bad individual at all. And then you have the bunny girl. She is someone that basically wants to break free from her chains. She wants to be something more. She wants to be something that isn't just like this weak animal that's just a prey, etc. She wants to be someone that can actually shine and be different. And the way she's kind of displayed, she's very outgoing. She's also very strong-willed in a way. So technically the two characters are kind of opposites, but you would think that the wolf would be more like the bunny, but the bunny would be more like the wolf, especially kind of the way they act. But I think that's obviously intentional by the way the story is going. Now, anyways, another thing to really get into is the finale scene of the episode, which is kind of the big cliffhanger, which I'm interested to seeing episode 2 now, is that there is something that happens to the MC to where he gets his instincts unlocked to where he wants to actively hunt a herbivore, or the bunny girl. And the episode basically ends with him holding the bunny girl, and that's it. Now, I'm personally going to assume that the bunny girl is going to be okay, and the dude's going to let her go. He's going to overcome his instincts. But the big question is, what is going on? For him to have his instincts activate like that, it makes me assume that there is something that is being done. There's some form of scent or chemical or something being thrown around the campus that's causing people to really act up. And if there's one thing that really kind of stood out to me was the fact that when you think about a wolf in general, they have really good sense of smell. And the way you see the scene depicted, he starts to smell something and it gets inside of his nose and it just causes him to go into a deranged state to where he actively hunts after the bunny girl. So I'm assuming that there was something that was put on the bunny girl that caused her to be hunted. And the only thing that I saw from the episode that was put on her was when that one prestigious bunny girl that was acting all high and mighty slung water on her. There might have been some form of chemical or whatever in it that really disturbed the main male character's senses that actively wanted to hunt her. That's what I'm assuming, because that's what it looks like, and the way he got that smell, it just fits in line perfectly, and that's why he kind of went into a crazy state. So yeah, I think Beastars is a very, very good series. Like I said, I wish I didn't judge it by its cover. I wish I wasn't going to give this a hard pass. I feel very guilty I was going to do that, but Beastars is definitely something that stands out, and I'm glad I gave it a shot. I really am glad I decided to watch it and not skip it, and I really do recommend the same for everyone out there that has yet to really watch Beastars. It's fun. It's a really fun story. It's a really fun series. So I think that's about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.